You won't be dealing with quantitative variables. Variables will be there, but these variables cannot be expressed in terms of numbers. Okay, for example, let's take employee motivation. Okay, now employee motivation, when I look at it, I find that there are certain variables which are very important. One is the relationship with the supervisors. Okay, now a social relationship with your peers. Okay, the colleagues, the co-workers, and people working under you. What kind of friendly relationship do you have with? Okay, and another thing is like your feeling of belongingness. Okay, and your own satisfaction, your own life satisfaction. These are very important. Now, can I express these variables in numbers? Can I say that my life satisfaction is, out of 50, it is 40? There are ways by which we try to bring this variable in numbers, and that's another factor. But usually by nature, fundamentally, these are not quantitative variables. These are qualitative variables. I can simply say, I can feel that, okay, let's say in general, I'm very satisfied with my life. Okay, so I can say that if you ask me what is your satisfaction, life satisfaction level, I say, okay, it's pretty high. Or sometimes when I'm going through a very bad phase in my life, I might say that, oh, things are not going well. I'm not very happy. I'm not, that the satisfaction is not very high. Or in certain other cases, okay, I have problem with my co-workers. They don't like me, or I don't like them. I can perhaps I can feel it, but I can put this and in numbers. I can't say that it's 5, it's 7, it's 8. Okay, but I can say that okay, it used to be much better before this supervisor came in. It has come down, but I can't say by 10%, 15%, because I don't know the numbers, right? So you got the. I hope you're getting the hang of it. You're getting it, right? The difference between qualitative research and quantitative research. In general, this is the basic difference. Okay, there are other difference. We will come to that when we get to that point, right? So, in the case of qualitative research, basically, this
Excuse me,
is
ma'am.
what happened. Yes, Ashwini. Yeah, tell me.
Have you started screen sharing?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, all right. I tried and then I thought, okay, let me just tell you the difference and then we will see. Okay. Now,
Okay, ma'am.
in this case, just take a qualitative research. Now, the variables I told you, like satisfaction or let's say job satisfaction, you might have seen certain studies or you might have heard from, or you have read from newspapers like, happiness, there is something called happiness index, right? And they say Bhutan, okay, India's neighbor, Bhutan, scores has the highest score in happiness index globally, right? Now, happiness index is what? It's basically a qualitative variable. But then, how did they come to one number, particular number? They say out of 100, it's like 91. What they do is, by certain methods, they create a scale and then they try to measure. Okay, for example, you might have filled out some survey forms when you come out of retail stores after you know after your shopping is done. Certain shops will give you some survey forms, right? Can you just fill this for us? Some 5 questions or 7 questions will be there, and they ask you, how do you rate the service from on a scale of 1 to 5, and how do you rate the ambience of this store, and how do you rate the product variety, how do you rate the quality of the product. So different aspects, right? Now in this case, all these are qualitative variables, but then you try to really, okay, starting from 1 to 5, okay, this is about 4, and then that's how they try to convert this qualitative variables into some kind of quantitative measurement. So that's one thing. Now, in in that case, that becomes quantitative research, although fundamentally these are qualitative variables. Basically, in social science research, most of the variables you will encounter, you will come across, will be qualitative in nature, but that doesn't mean that you will be doing just qualitative research, because we will somehow try to convert this. There are certain methods, we'll see that, right? Systematically, we'll try to really come to some kind of quantitative measurement, because quantitative measurement is
I will call you back.
measurements tend to
Is
be
it okay?
more accurate than qualitative measurements. So it's always easy and more useful to deal with the quantitative variables or quantitative measurement than qualitative measurement, right? So that's there. But still, qualitative research is used when? Mostly during exploratory research, because exploratory research doesn't require you to reach at certain conclusions. You don't have to really say that, okay, the demand for this particular product will be 1 lakh units per month. Nobody wants you to come to that kind of numbers or arrive at certain numbers, right? Exploratory research is basically to investigate further, get some insights and more deeper understanding of the problem itself, not the real answers to your research questions. So mostly qualitative research is done in the case of exploratory research. Okay, so we'll start with exploratory research. So exploratory research, we will start with qualitative research methods for exploratory research in this session, and in the next session we will discuss again exploratory research, where you will be using more quantitative measures, secondary data collection for or secondary data research for exploratory research. Okay, I hope you get the whole picture. Don't lose the picture. We are at exploratory research, right? And in exploratory research, what are the methods you use? Okay, for conducting exploratory research. So basically, qualitative research is one. Under qualitative research, different methods are there. We will see. We'll look at all of them. And then you have secondary data research, which again is an exploratory research, right? All right. Now I'll start the slide. Second. Okay. Okay, basically, most important exploratory data research is the basic one is, okay, just look at this slide. Again, we'll start with this. Okay, this I told you, this is what we discussed at first, qualitative research and quantitative research. So basically, research can be broadly classified as either qualitative research or quantitative research based on the nature of variables you deal with, the nature of measurement you will use. Okay, in the case of qualitative research, basically all measurement will be qualitative in nature. In the case of quantitative research, the measurement will be quantitative in nature. Means numbers. You will be dealing with numbers here. Here you won't be dealing with numbers. You will get a lot of data, but most of the data will be text. Okay. For example, you conduct an interview with an employee, you will learn about his motivation level, not in terms of numbers. You will talk about his experience, his opinions, his attitudes, a lot of data in the form of pure text, words, right? in here, if you conduct a survey and ask them to rate certain things or measure their height, weight, you will get a lot of variable, a lot of numbers here. Okay. Now, qualitative research, the basic difference you get. Okay. So basically, the objective will be qualitative understanding of the underlying reasons and motivation. Here, the basic objective is to quantify the data and generalize the result from the sample to the population of interest. Okay. In the case of qualitative research, you will never be able to, let's say, generalize your finding to the entire population. For example, you talk to 10 employees in a factory and they tell you a lot of stories, their experiences and what they feel, all those things. Okay. You'll get a lot of insights. You will understand, how things are in that particular factory. But will you be able to really predict what is going to happen to the entire factory or to the entire set of employees? No. You will get a fairly good idea. Now, that's the purpose of qualitative research. You don't have to really generalize the entire thing based on the whole thing. Okay. But in the case of quantitative research, you will be able to actually apply mathematical models, statistical models, and you will be able to really, forecast, or you will be able to, report like, what is actually happening to the entire thing. For example, you might have, let's take pre-poll election, pre-poll surveys, pre-election surveys, like, who is going to win, which party is going to win this election. Certain surveys are conducted, right? How do they do it? Do they ask each and every, voter in this country? No. They take a sample and then they use statistical estimation techniques, and then they say that, okay, this party, this coalition A or this party A will get 40% of vote share, and another party will get 30% vote share, or they say that they're likely to win this many seats in Lok Sabha, and the other party will get this many seats. But those predictions are based on numbers. Quantitative research it is. Okay, so that's the case. Qualitative research is different. So that's it. Okay. Now, when it comes to sample, okay, sample at this point in time, understand sample is just a subset of your population. Population means the total set of all elements under study. For example, if you are doing a research on voters in India, and all voters in India will be your population. Let's say you are doing a research on consumers of tobacco products in India, then all consumers of tobacco products in India will constitute your population, right? Now, if you are talking about children under 14 in Kerala, then the population will be what? All children under 14 years of age residing in Kerala will be your population, right? Now, if you're drawing a subset from the sample, population, that's called a sample. I got sampling we will see in detail later, but at this point in time, is it okay? Any problem? You can just tell me. Right? Is that okay? Sample is, usually we use the term sample. I hope, loosely you understand what sample is. Okay, technical details we'll see, of course, but it's a subset of the entire population. Population means all the total set of all elements under study. It doesn't mean that India's population or Kerala's population or West Bengal population or Uttar Pradesh population. No, it's not in that sense. We're talking about, for that particular research, for the phenomenon under study, it's a total set of all elements. Okay, what are you really researching on? If you are researching on consumers, then all consumers of that particular product will be your population. Okay, not all people. No. Okay, population of India is 1.32 billion. So that's not the population we are talking about. I hope you understand, right? Yes. So a sample is a small number of in the case of qualitative research, you will collect information or data from very small number. Okay, but in the case of quantitative research, you will deal with large number of cases, large number of people, respondents, or uh, need not always be people. Okay, you can even take factories as your plans as your elements or cases. Certain consumers means consumers are the cases. Now, if you are talking about, let's say, a profitability of plants, industrial plants, factories in India, then these plants or factories are your cases. So, need not always be just people, can be anything, right? So, data collection in the case of qualitative research will be unstructured. It will be very structured in the case of quantitative. Data analysis will be non-statistical. Here it will be statistical. Statistical estimation procedure will be used in the case of quantitative research. Outcome will be you will simply develop an initial understanding of the problem. Here you will reach at a conclusion so that you will be able to even recommend a possible course of action. Okay, because you start with a definite research question, and at the end of the research, you have arrived at a solution. You have found your answers. So, based on those answers, you will be able to even recommend a final course of action to the decision makers in the company. You say that okay, for the first year of operation, we will sell this many units in this market. Okay, so if you want to increase advertisement by 20% or 30%, because you have all the data with you, right? So that's a case. Okay, now we'll come to qualitative research in the case of exploratory. Qualitative research is basically exploratory in nature. Keep that in mind. Okay, so that's a now, qualitative research procedures or methods can be broadly classified as either direct methods and indirect methods. Direct means non-disguised method. That means, when you collect information from people or respondents, it's direct. You make direct contact with your respondents and then you collect. There is no disguise in the case of direct method. Disguise means nothing is hidden. People know that you are conducting a research, and for the purpose of that research, you're asking them questions, right? So that's the case. Indirect methods are disguised methods. They may not really know the thing. Okay, we'll come to that one by one. We'll take. First, we'll start with direct methods. There are many methods, but most important methods or most often used methods are focus groups and depth interviews. Okay, that's what we are going to start first. Now, let me tell you what a focus group is. Focus group is a qualitative research technique, research method, okay, which is exploratory in nature. Okay, it is both exploratory and under exploratory, it's a qualitative research method. Now, focus group, what happens is that you get you're researching on certain phenomenon. Okay, so you have got your elements or cases like employees or consumers. Okay, let's for example, consumers of a certain product. Laptop consumers in India. We discuss this example, right? So let's say you would like to know, how they select one particular laptop brand. Okay, so you get, let's say you go to a place and then let's say go to a department in the campus and just ask, let's say 5 people. Okay, you just call them, 5 to 8 or 8 to 15 people. Okay, from different, let's say, departments in the campus. And then you ask them, questions like, what's the laptop you're using and how did you come to this particular laptop? Okay, what else did you consider? What were the other brands did you consider? and what were the factors you considered, how many people did you consult, and what do you really feel about this, after using. And they will be asked to, they will be basically allowed to speak very freely. It's a discussion on a particular topic. Through the discussion, you will, of course, there will be a moderator who is a researcher, or somebody on, and on behalf of the researcher, will conduct this focus group discussion. So discussion will be a moderated discussion, nothing else. Like, in certain cases, you will know, let's say, all news channels in India, you have got, after 8 o'clock, you will say a lot of, TV news debate, right? It's that kind of thing. Okay, but with a definite purpose. The moderator has got certain questions or certain objectives in mind. Okay, at the end of the discussion, I should have asked them this many things, but then these are not strict, list of questions, because when, as you discuss these things, new things will come up. Perhaps you didn't, it's loosely structured. I'll explain it. First, let's see what it is. Okay. So a focus group is a moderated discussion on a specific topic, right? Usually around 8 to 15 people will be there. 15 is actually a high number, but then, 12 is kind of, or 8 to 10 will be better, in the sense it will be easy to really, cover everyone, or make people participate in that particular discussion, right? So these people will be drawn from your population. Okay, for example, laptop users in, in Kerala. So then let's say, okay, students are one major segment. So we go to the university from different departments. You conduct. Okay, so student laptop owners. That's a category you considered, right? And when you invite or get people for focus group, you always get homogeneous group. Like, you won't mix students with, let's say, office users of laptop, because things are different, their backgrounds are different, discussion will not get you anywhere, right? So you will have, when you have different mix in your population, let's say, when I say laptop users, students are major segment, but students are not the only people who use, right? There are people, professionals use, then, office people use, let's say, some people, housewives, just for entertainment they might use. So different segments you have, right? So in order to know about laptop users in Kerala, you will have to cover these 4 different segments, right? Now, when you conduct focus group, you won't conduct a mixed group focus group. Okay, you will have to conduct, let's say, 1 or 2 focus group among students, 1 or 2 focus groups among office or professional users, or, employed users, or, and then, or housewives, or, people who use for entertainment, right? A homogeneous background you should have for people sitting for one particular focus group, right? Now, the idea is how you do it. You, as a moderator, let's say I'm the moderator, and I just ask some very broad questions. I get the interaction started, the discussion started. Then people can, talk among themselves, can ask us or tell us, or can interrupt others in the meeting, all those things. But you always will channel the discussion towards that. Okay, it's not like, they started speaking about laptop and then it became TV. No, you will not really, that's why you have moderators there, right? And you will have, as a moderator, you will have a broad checklist, nothing but list of questions, areas which should be covered. Okay, you want to ask them about competitive brand, you want to ask them about the image of the thing. Like, for example, if you are having, let's say, an Apple machine with you, a Mac professional, Mac Pro, Okay, so what do they think? Why do they buy? Is it just for the performance, or is it just for, some kind of, show off, or some kind of, there's a lot of prestige value attached to a Mac Pro, right? So that's it. So is that the reason? All these things should be covered. So we'll have a broad guidelines. So we just ask them, okay, how many of you have this? Okay, this person has Mac. So I just ask him, okay, why did you buy it? Then you could have bought maybe some other machine at the same price. Then why Apple in particular? So all this, and then he will say something, and from his answers, I will again probe, right? It's not a structured thing. It's not that, I will just go one question, then another question. No, one question, I get an answer, and from that answer, I can even go to some other questions, which are not there in the list. But then, as the discussion evolves, I get to the depth of it. Got it? So that takes some kind of skill and experience from the moderator. Got it? So that's what a focus group is. Now let's see the slide. Okay. So, okay, this is a focus group. You have a group size of 8 to 12 people, group composition, homogeneous, respondents, pre-screened. That means all should be like, when you have people from different backgrounds, they might not even feel comfortable. Like, you are putting teenagers with, let's say, 50 plus, adults. What will happen? The teenagers might feel, they're out of sync, they might not even open their mouth, or sometimes, they feel that, okay, these people will not understand, let's keep our mouth shut, that kind of thing. So that's it. So physical setting is very informal. It should be like, the idea is to make people talk, the respondents talk, so that the real thing comes out from their mind. Okay, time duration will be usually in commercial research. They say it's 1 to 3 hours, but rarely you will go up to 3 hours. 3 hours is kind of, textbooks you will find it as 3 hours. Commercials, research, it will be 45 to 1 hour or 1.5 hours it can go up. Okay, academic research is something different. There, you can have a lengthy, like, they take break and then again they speak. Okay, so it's a kind of thing, and the entire session will be recorded. Okay, audio cassettes and that won't be that's rarely used. You don't have things there. Audio recorders are there, digital audio recorders are there, but usually it will be video recorded. Okay, so that analysis will be done by the researcher. Moderator is there. Moderator may not be the researcher, right? So usually you might get people, usually commercial research, what they do is there are people who do just focus group. Okay, so per focus group you have to pay them. Okay, so all research firms, what they do is, okay, pay these people, because you will be doing some 15 focus groups, right? So 15 focus group of, let's say, 1 hour. So you have 15 hours of recording, right? 15 hours of work. So moderators, and it's a lot of time. You won't employ your real good researcher for just this. This is because it's data collection. But then these people will have to see what's actually happening. Focus group discussion, they got to know. That's why we are recording it. Okay. So that's a case. So moderator will be very observational, very interpersonal relationship should be good. That means, they should have good communication skill and good interpersonal skill, so that this person should be able to really make people participate and, give out honest opinion, right? So that's a case of focus group. Okay. Now, key qualification and all those things, I'm just telling you. Okay, so this is how you plan your focus group. First, you determine the objective of the marketing research project and define the problem. So, what is it that we are trying to find out? I just briefed the moderator that, okay, I want to know about laptop consumers in Kerala. Now that's a very broad thing, right? For what purpose am I asking them? I'm just asking them. My idea is to really find out, the perception of my brand. Okay, what's the image? What's the brand image of one particular brand? Okay, for which I'm conducting the research. Let's say I'm doing it for, let's say, HP. Okay, that's a thing. That's my client. So I would like to know what's the brand image of HP. How do they really compare it with the other brands and all those things? A very qualitative way. Okay, so that's a thing. Now, the specify the objectives of qualitative research. Now, as far as this particular research is concerned, what are you trying to really find out? You will be able to know how many people buy HP from a quantitative survey. You don't need qualitative research there. From the qualitative research, what I'm going to really look at is I want to really know the image, the perception of people, right? And from this particular focus group, what is it that I'm trying to really find out? I'm trying to really find out the social, acceptability. What is the prestige value of an HP machine? If I'm carrying an HP machine, what do I think of other people looking at my this thing? I think that okay, people will think very highly of me, or people might think that HP is not a good machine, or no, this has no prestige symbol or value. So what is it? That's what I'm trying to find out through the focus group. So specific objectives of the first focus group should be mentioned. Okay, then you try to develop your what you call checklist or questionnaire. Okay, and based on that checklist, you develop the moderator's brief, moderator's outline. Moderator's outline means that is what you will brief, you know, what you will give to the moderator. Okay, through this particular focus group, this is what we are trying to accomplish. So that is what you, and then you conduct the focus group, you record the thing, then you review the tapes, the video tapes. Okay, you analyze the data qualitatively. What are the analysis methods? All these things you'll discuss as time comes. Okay, and then we come to the findings. Got it? So it's very easy. A focus group, you have to start from the research problem, then you have to arrive at the specific qualitative research objective. From the qualitative research objectives, come to the specific objectives of the focus group. Based on that, prepare a checklist of areas you would like to cover, the questions you would like to ask the respondents. Accordingly, brief your moderator, then conduct the focus group, record it, review it. That means you watch it, you prepare. Basically, what they do is recording will be done, and then there will be people who will do the transcription. From the video, they will prepare the text. Okay, you can even use the software for that, but it's very difficult to if it is not in English. And again, in English itself, it's very difficult for you to get text converter for Indian English in Indian accent. It's difficult that way. So what they do is manually they hear and then they write the thing in thing. So you have a text document, word document. You have it. You can have it in English or in the language you will be you'll be using, right? So that's a case. And then you analyze and then you come to that. Okay, so this is just an example of very old research where they use the focus group. Okay, so 20 focus groups they ran across the country in order to understand what features customer wanted. Okay, so that's the case. So this is how people use the case. Okay, so that's a thing. All right, so that's about the focus group qualitative research.